Something to keep in mind when you walk into a forest, you can see the layers. You feel very safe, you know?
Yeah.
There's so many layers.
So you have like the dominant trees kind of protecting you.
The co-dominant, which are small, and the dominant, the intermediate, and then the understory.
Wow. So can you tell me about your plans for next summer or for a graduation?
Well, my fiance Claire and I graduate in the winter, so it's December. And then the following March, we're going to be moving out to eastern South Dakota, and we're going to live on some family land we have. And the idea is that we're going to build our own cabin. It's going to be off the grid. It's going to be very small. It'll have a small footprint. So there'll be no plumbing, no electricity. And the idea is kind of just to live simply, to have our own garden, to tend to some chickens, to teach ourselves how to work with our hands, carpentry skills, things like that. I think the main idea behind it is just to gain experience. You know, I've been going to school for so long, and I don't necessarily learn the best in like a structured environment. You know, like kind of like the academic system we have. You know, in universities and college. I've always struggled with that, and a lot of things that I want to learn, like carpentry and gardening and things like that, you can't learn at a four-year university. So I figured. I graduated, I got to that point, so if I can do that, I can teach myself how to do these other things. So that's what we're going for.
And what do you hope to contribute to the world through that and through your own life?
My own life, I guess our life. I'm getting married to my fiancée Claire before we move out there, so in a couple months here. What I want to gain for our life is, like I said, the experience, because one day we want to have kids and we want to raise our kids in a really healthy environment, and not just physically. I mean, we want to feed them food that we grow. We want to make sure that they understand where their food and their water and their air and all these things are coming from, but we also want them to be surrounded by plants. We want them to learn to live without a microwave, without lights on all the time, without a phone, without a laptop. Our goal is to learn all this stuff, so when it's time to have kids and we're ready to do that, we can build a life beforehand that will meet those needs, and it won't be such a struggle because we will have already learned it, and it will have been a part of our life for some time. The world, I haven't really thought that far, but I want to make a smaller footprint. I want to try to make my own food. I want to try to minimize the amount of electricity I use. I want to be very conscious of how much water I use. Water is a big issue. We talk about it in a lot of classes. Watersheds, they're either drying up or they're becoming contaminated with fertilizer or livestock or whatever the case may be. And you know, there's the droughts in California and the fires everywhere, and water just seems to be more scarce as we go on through time. So I just want to make sure I can recognize where my water is coming from and how much I use. And I think when we cut out plumbing, we cut out showers, things like that, direct hot water, things of that nature, I think we'll really start to realize how much water we use, what we use it for, and you know, hopefully working for it will make us realize it. You, Rivka, you have that water bottle that you carry around, you know, and it's a heavy thing, but it kind of signifies how valuable water is, you know, and how you can forget about that sometimes, even if it's just a light water bottle. But that heavy thing, it makes you think about it a lot, and I think that's kind of what we're going for. It's you know, not everyone should grow up thinking that their food comes from a supermarket or from a Walmart and that their water comes from a faucet. I think everyone should know what's happening there, and so I want to start promoting that in my life and everyone's life around me, my family and my friends. But I can't really start doing that to other people until I've figured it out myself, until I've tried it. So that's really why we're doing it.
And you've been doing some of that in different ways with leading wilderness trips and teaching younger kids to really respect the earth and the trees and the waters?
Yeah, I get most of my nature fix from backpacking nowadays. I guess backpacking is living sustainably for a short period of time. It's not necessarily the most comfortable way, but just because of my career choice as a student so far, I've only had the summers to toy around with teaching others about the environment, teaching others about nature, and getting people to respect what they depend on. And so I do that through backpacking and through interpretation. And I hope in the future, after this experiment, living on the prairie, building our own place, I hope to continue that, whether it be an interpretive ranger at a national park, leading cave tours, or building trails, leading backpacking trips, kind of doing the grunt work for a little bit that I've been doing for the past couple summers. So we'll see what comes my way.
Are there any fears that you have and any hopes?
Of like the upcoming summer projects? Yeah. Fears, tons of them. I mean, one of the fears is living out there just with Claire for 7 months. I'm not scared of living with her indefinitely. I'm not scared for the stresses we'll have, but it's just a little nerve-wracking when you think we'll be secluded from people for so long, and really from civilization. Excuse me. There's really no homesteads even around our cabin. And granted, people will come visit, but it's still a little nerve-wracking to think it's just us two for a while, But I think that's a really good way to grow. I'm nervous for the construction part of it. I am pretty well-rounded when it comes to plants. I have quite a green thumb, and so does Claire. So I think the gardening and the chickens aren't going to be that hard. I mean, obviously we're going to have to learn. We're going to have to put a lot of care into it. But I think as long as we put care and love into the gardens and the chickens, it's going to turn out right. The construction, on the other hand, the carpentry, that's what I'm mostly scared about. I've never done much with construction. I mean, I've built a couple things here and there, but a house, never. And as much as I'm teaching myself and I'm talking to people and all these things, and I have frames drawn out and we're using CAD programs to build our house digitally and all these things, I have that, but I've never actually taken a hammer and a nail and a square and actually built something. So I'm a little nervous for a structurally sound house to come out, to be the finished product. And so I hope that's what happens. And hopes, I guess I would just say I'm really looking forward to living away from people. I mean, it's a fear, but it's also something I'm really looking forward to. You can really tell that people are comfortable where other people are, and man-made things are, women-made things are. They're not so comfortable out on the prairie or in the woods or in a tree or on a river, and that's what I want to see change. And so I think I have hope for that. I think the more Claire and I do these things, the more people we're going to meet who are also interested and intrigued at what we're doing. And, from that, I'll see it grow. I mean, I've been inspired by so many people, like my friend who lives in the teepee, and I want to give that back to others. I want them to have the chance to say, this is really cool. Maybe I'll do this one day. And then they do.
And do you see yourself sharing your experience? You're going to be writing a blog, right?
Yeah, there's going to be a blog. We're going to have videos, pictures, writings, and I hope that people are out there almost every weekend or every week. I hope someone's always coming out to say hello, either to help or just to hang out, because there's lots of things to do, especially in the late spring and summer months. There's a lot of stuff to do.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely.